Here we go. Good Tvoch, everyone. Motzoi, Parshas Noach, Tavshin Pei Daled. You know, I heard a vote many years ago from Arav Ablezer Shlomo Shik, Zichron Livracha, and he said about Parshas Noach, and he said, Noach ish tzadik v'tamim haya b'deroisov es Elokim salach Noach. And just right here. Just give me 1 second here. Beseder. So he says, you start a pasuk, you're saying, Ish, Noach ish tzadik, v'tamim, Noach ish tzadik tamim b'deroisov. So what is the chiddush when you're saying Elokim salach Noach? He was a tzaddik v'tamim. What do you expect? He's going to play golf? I mean, obviously, Elokim salach Noach. How else do you get to be, tzaddik v'tamim? So the Rashi on this, tzaddik v'tamim yabed ha'roisov. So Rashi says, yesh, Rabbi saying shedoshim l'shvach. That they interpret it as a praise for Noach. Look at the generations around him. Everybody is pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas. It's from Allah Aretz Hamas. That's what it says in the Pasha, right? And in such a generation, for him to remain, tzaddik v'tomim, doshim l'shvach. Yes, doshim l'gnai, and some interpret it derogatorily. The Hayab Deroisav, he was a tzaddik v'tomim in his generation. But, if he would have been in generation of Ram Avinu, he wouldn't have been considered anything special. It wouldn't be. So it was Rav Shik said, how was it possible for Noach to retain his tzidkis in such a generation? So he says, because in Noach's generation, people were talking about him. Some said, Noach, everything is his fault. He's nothing, he's a bum, he's a this, he's a that, he's weird, he's whatever. And some Darshan said, no, he's amazing, he's a tzaddik, and he's this, and he's that. Maybe he's going a little bit overboard, with constructing this teva for 120 years, telling everybody what do you expect people to do. In 120 years, you're going to have a marble, please. But nevertheless, he says, says Rabbi Shik, says as follows, while these were busy praising him, and these were busy putting him down, he did his. He didn't pay attention if people think that he's great or people think that he's nothing, and not that he has his own thing. He totally disregarded, what everybody around is saying. That's how he was able to be ish tzaddik v'tamim, b'deroisav, in these kind of generation. It is obviously very, very, very important because it's very nogea l'maisa that people nowadays are a little bit torn about how much should they look at, what should they look at. All kinds of pictures, all kinds of this, all kinds of that. What is the right measure? What should a person do? How much should a person? So Erachinami, if we would have been such tzaddikim, shleimim, that we don't look in this world at all, the answer we shouldn't look at it at all. But we're not holding that madriga. So the answer you should know is, first of all, there's a level of it is forbidden to look at dead people, especially people that has been that died brutally. Lo aleinu v'lo aleichem. It's an isser laloch. It's a Rizal says it's very bad for a person's spiritually and physically. It's bad. Nevertheless, you should be part of your surrounding. You should be in touch with the people around you. It's okay, you're muted. You can let it rip, David. No problem. Yeah. So, you're around, this is what is happening. I don't know, this happened, I heard this happened, that happened, whatever. We should definitely know there was a big miracle with everything that happened. It's still going on. Everything will end up good, B'ezrat Hashem. People still don't understand the greatness of the miracle that happened here, because Hamas, the orcs, jumped the gun. Iran is very upset with them. What they were actually planning, as the guy were playing all the time, was for this to be a sudden attack like they did from Gaza or from all over. The Hamas, the Houthis from Yemen, the Syrians, and the Hezbollah from Lebanon, all at once. When all the people, all the reservists would be at home, thousands of missiles, Shem Irachem, they wanted to fall on. Within 2 days, Israel would have been gone. I mean, that's when you come to think of it, that's the reason why America is bringing here 2, 3, I don't know how many aircraft carriers here, because everybody knows now that the plan was a lot bigger. And Hamas, they saw, this party of these poor kids going on to the news. They figured, that's a good chance to take hostages, and they jumped the gun. I mean, Shem Irachem, it's a lesson that cost us, over 1,300 dead and over 200 hostages. But it is a great, great, great miracle. Hashem Yazor Hala. Okay, let's take a quick look to the Sipurey Baal Shem Tov for this week. One time, it so happened, obviously saying Sipurey Baal Shem Tov is Gula for the week. It happened that one person was Michal Shabbos B'Shoigig, and he came before the Heilige Yechiel Mechel Zlotchover, one of Talmidei Baal Shem Tov, a great, 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 great tzaddik, and asked him for a tikkun. What should he do? So Reb Mechel Zlotchover has fixed him a tikkun. Was very, very severe. It was very difficult. A lot of fasting, a lot of Gilgul Sheleg, rolling himself and sitting in cold water in the rain, in the ice. Very, very difficult. Tshuva. Okay, well, the Rav told him, so he started doing it. And he understood that it was just beyond him. There was no way he was able to do it. So one day, the Baal Shem HaKodesh came to a nearby town, and the person went to him for Shabbos and asked him for a tikkun, something a little bit easier that he'll be able to withstand. So the Baal Shem Tov says, sure, no problem. He says, take 1 pound of candles. The candles were made of tallow in those days. So take 1 pound of candles and bring it to shul, give it to shul Shabbos Kodesh. That's your tshuva for Chilul Shabbos. Well, the person heard that and he was like stunned, like, whoa. This is such a little donation of 1 pound of candles to the shul. The dichotomy between the tshuva that the Mechel Zochava gave him and the tshuva that the Baal Shem Tov gave him was like, how can it possibly help that it would just... So the Baal Shem Tov saw him and he says, why are you wondering? So he told him that the Mechel Zochava was Masada for him a very, very severe tikkun that is practically impossible, to keep. The Baal Shem Tov gave him such an easy tikkun, that it was almost like nothing. So that is the thing. This is why I was wondering. The Mishal Tov insisted, you do what I tell you. That's going to be true of Shlema. So the Yid went away over visiting with Hashem Tov, extremely happy, took 1 pound of candles, took him to the shul, B'simcha, gave it to the Shabbos. That's it, use it for Shabbos Kodesh. Those days, no electricity, everything was candles. Give him candles, Shabbos Kodesh, light the candles, everybody can come. When he got to the shul, the Shabbos wasn't there. The sexton, he wasn't there. So he hung the candles on a hook on the wall. Now we are talking about candles that are made of tallow. This is chaylev. This is, animal fats. As he started to leave, a dog came and he ran towards the candles and he jumped toward him, from the wall, whatever they were hanging, and he ate the candles. So that shattered the person. He was like, whoa, this is... So immediately he went to the Baal Shem Tov and he told him Big Tsar what happened. His Nadava, the dog ate it. So the Baal Shem Tov told him, bring another pound of candles to the shul. This time the dog is not going to eat them. And the Baal Shem Tov also sent him to his Talmud, and tell him that I asked that he should come to me. Baal Shem Tov told him that Rebbe Chazon should come to him. The person went, gave the candles to the shul, dog didn't eat them. The person went to Rebbe Chazon and told him the Baal Shem Tov asked him. So the next Shabbos, Rebbe Chazon is going to the Baal Shem Kodesh. But there was a problem with the wagon. And it became later and later. And until he wasn't able to stay on the wagon anymore, he realized the Shabbos is going to come in. And he started walking towards the place, the wagon, the village, whatever it is, Baal Shem Tov was there. And he was petrified. He mamish got into Tchum Shabbos, mamish like on a cat's whisker. It was almost how the Shabbos. He was petrified. By the time that he already got to the Baal Shem Tov, the Baal Shem Tov was already standing making Kiddush. When the Baal Shem Tov saw him and he gave him Shalom Aleichem, he told him as follows: Ni mechela. From now, you will learn what it means to give a harsh tikkun to someone who's Mechal Shabbos, B'Shoigig. A person that has never tasted a sin like you. Now you will understand the heartbreak of a Jew, a good meaning Jew, that fell in Avera. How can you give him such a tshuva? How can you do this? You should know that in the heartbreak this person had from Shul Shabbos that happened to him, that sin was already totally eradicated. From this, it says we can hear that the main tshuva is the heartbreak, and not the self, sigufim and stuff like that. This is a very, very, very important point. I don't know anyone of us who does not find himself in this particular point in time wondering, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with various things in my past? What am I going to do with this? And it's very difficult. I mean, Baruch Hashem, tzaddikim like you don't know what I'm talking about. But some of us have done things when we were young that are not at all pretty, let alone afterwards. All kinds of things that happened various times in our lives, when we fell off the wagon or whatever it is that. How are we supposed to give tikkun to anything? How are we supposed to have tikkun for this? Take a look at this particular story one more time. We see here that when a Baal Shem Tov told the Yid to bring a pound of candles for his tikkun, and he brought it to the shul, a dog came and ate the candles. And then the Baal Shem Tov said, okay, do it again. This time you're not going to eat it. And then he called the Mechaz Lotchever and put him through this kind of nisayon. The answer is that the Mechaz Lotchever gave him the tikkun. His tikkun was tied to the tzaddik that gave him the tikkun. It was because of the code of Mechaz Lotchever that he gave him such a big tikkun, such a very, very difficult tikkun. The dog came to eat the candles. You can say that Baal Shem HaKadosh, and the second time he said, give it again. This time I was going to, and call the Mechaz to me. It stands to reason that he, quote unquote, has disconnected the tikkun from the Mechaz Lotchever to himself. The truth of the matter is, here, the thing that they say that that person had a broken heart, and so forth and so on. Rabbeinu said, you people don't have the capacity. We don't have the capacity to do tshuva on a single avera that we did. When you come to think of it, an avera means that a person, lo aleinu, is doing something against the Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Baal Tanya, Sichos Haran, he has this incredible language to describe things. It is really shocking. He said, when a person does an avera, he says he's like holding the melech in the hair of his head, and he's forcing the king's face down into a bucket full with, I don't want to say what. That's an Avera. We're talking about Melech Malachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How can we ever, Zabinu says, even forget about an Avera, just doing something is not the code of Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a pasnish for Kadosh Baruch Hu. For us to do is already it's Hashem Yerachim is. It was befitting that whatever will come to a person, but the tzaddik is doing tshuva for the people. The tzaddik is doing tshuva for the people. So Mechas Loshava is the one who is doing the tshuva for that person. But in order for Mechas Loshava to do the tshuva to protect this person, that person has to do that much. When the Baal Shem HaKodesh, which is the tzaddik ador, it's enough for this person to bring a pound of candles. Obviously, the heartbreak of that person was the same heartbreak, when before the Rebbe Chazdoshev gave him the tikkun, the Baal Shem Tov gave him the tikkun. It's the same heartbreak. But in order for when it comes to the tzaddik ador, the tzaddik amiti, a godel ba'amola, a maila like Moshe Rabbeinu, like Shem Bar Yochai, Rabbeinu Arizal, Rabbeinu Baal Shem Tov, and Rabbeinu Nachman. Rabbeinu said, I'm not even makpid on a shogeg, on the inadvertent averas that you do. He says, I'm not upset about this. I'll take care of it. Just stay away from mazid. Stay away of doing averas b'chavona. The koyach of the tzaddik is so immense that you have the heartbreak. It's enough. Rabbeinu take it one step further. He says, and the inadvertent averas, even this I'm not makpid. But you should keep yourself away from mazid, from one of the things that we need to sort of zoom into, especially these days. In Kabbalah, they say that there is something called Or Yashar. This is straight light. That's from the beginning, and there's Or Choizer, that when the light hits a screen and it bounces back, it's called Or Choizer. The Or Yashar is the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is total Or Yashar, Kulo Chesed. It has no end, it's Ein Sof, and is therefore totally imperceptible. It fills reality, but we cannot see it, we cannot hear it. The Kodesh Baruch Hu made it so that it becomes a koil. V'kol ha'am roimes ha-koilos. So kol yashar and kol chayzer. Now, we understand this, that when we speak to somebody, you tell them something. You can tell them, a compliment, and because in their keli, it happened to hit some kind of a sore point, you get very upset. Why are they getting upset? I didn't say anything bad. No, because in your exchange with them, they got from you the kol yosher. I mean, you gave them a kol yosher, but what they heard was a kol chayzer. In other words, the way that what you said reverberated with your inner psychological kalen or whatever it is that you. This is called or chayzer. One of the reasons why it is so important not to look and too much of the stuff that is going on, and definitely not to listen to all the advice of all those who have absolutely no idea what they're saying, is because all those voices is a broken kol chayzer. I mean, as is, I have a broken kol chayzer of my own. When I listen to this one and to this one and to this one and to this one, it just discombobulates me even more, and I don't know, and I'm getting lost. What we need to do is we need to take our own imperfections, our own fears, our own kol chayzer, the refraction of the or yosha, the way that it seems to us in our own kalim, and go to Kadosh Baruch Hu and tell him about it. Ribono Shel Olam, you're doing something in the world that is totally amazing, that is, earth-shattering. And I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm coming, I'm going, and this and that, what'll happen, what'll not happen. I don't know. We spoke about, on Thursday, in Torah Hey Chalek Beis, quite a lot about this Nakuda. But what you're doing is you are giving back the Or Chayzer back to Kadosh Baruch Hu, so that the Or Chayzer, the way it comes from you, can get the tikkun from the Or Yashar, the original Or Yashar of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as a result, you get a semblance of Or Yashar the way that it's relevant to where you're holding in life. I'll give you an example. A person is lazy, okay? Lazy, whatever it is, he has problems. He's procrastinating. And it's very frustrating because that person really wants to get it going. It could be Beruchnis, it can be Begashmis, it could be anything. I really want to get stuff going, but every time I start, doing it, it goes back, and hits me in the face again. I'm a procrastinator. I let things slip between my fingers. I sleep too late. Whatever it is that I do, or I have these kind of sore points, that things that really shouldn't hurt me drive me nuts. Okay? I can't do anything with it again and again and again. How many times Kodesh Baruch Hu, I'm not going to do it again. How many times Kodesh Baruch Hu, please help me, whatever it is, and it just and you finally come to Kodesh Baruch Hu with this broken Or Chayzer. I am a loser. I'm a loser. And I can't believe it. I'm living in this life, in this world now. I'm supposed to be able to do this and to do that. I'm not saying to be who knows what, but just, ABC, simple stuff. And I keep on botching it, procrastinating, missing the boat, missing the plane, missing the point, whatever you want to call it. And you bring it to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu is Or Yasha. So it's possible that person, while he's telling Kadosh Baruch Hu everything, that he can hear almost like a thought comes up to his head. And he said, tell me, were you ever any different from yourself as a kid, as a teenager, your 20s, 30s? You remember? Were you different? Were you like a tichtiger, used to do things on the spot, sharp as a whip, nothing, and suddenly, boom, now it was always like that. Yeah, it was always like that. Oh, this same old bum I always used to be. So maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe that's your blood gemara to prepare for the Fahir in Olam Haba. How do you deal with life, with the demands of the Torah, with one hand tied behind your back, of being a schlub, of being a schlepper, of being a procrastinator, of being whatever it is that you find yourself to be. That's your lot. That's milchatchila. Unfounded fears and jealousies and whatever it is, it's fine. If you tell me, listen, I used to be, forget about it. It wasn't, now, you see, you're always like that. So maybe that's what it's supposed to be. What is this answer? The answer is the kol yashar, being mamtik, your broken kol chayzer. The way you understand, from all the reverberations and the impressions, and you look at people and you see you're getting voices from all over the place, and you're looking at things, and you think that's the way it's supposed to be, that's the way I should be, that's the way I should have been, shoulda, coulda, woulda, the whole thing. So that is when the kol chayzer is misacha, the kol yashar, and you get the kol yashar according to where you're holding. Bezat Hashem, you'll work more. Things will change. Some things will not change. Some things the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to change 1% or 1,000%. The Russell writes that the person that can be working on Midas Hakas, for instance, okay, and he's doing everything he can, and he explodes. He just explodes. There's nothing he can do to stop it. But what he doesn't know is that before he was getting angry 100 times a day. And now, with all the work that he put in, he's getting angry 97 times a day. In human, view, come on, man. It's a joke. I'm not doing anything. I'm not accomplishing anything. But it's not true. Because you don't know. Nosson writes it very, very sharply. He says, you have no idea where your Yetzer Hara comes from. Not only in this life, but in previous incarnations as well. You are supposed to see to it that you do everything the way you're supposed to do. But once you see that you cannot get over it, you look at it, especially when it comes to Averis in the past, Shoigeg, Mazid, whatever. What you need to do is simply, you do tshuva, I'm sorry I did it, Alavai, I wouldn't have done it, forget about it, and go on. That's it. No more than that. Whatever it is that you have problems with it, whatever it is, you come to Kadosh Baruch Hu and offer your kol chayzer and ask Kadosh Baruch Hu to give you a yishuv adas of kol yashar. So you can, recalibrate yourself, so it gets stable again and continue to go on. Many times when you get into Yiddishkeit, when you get into Avodas Hashem, when you stick into it, Rabbeinu says, when you accomplish something, it's very, and you basically, you went to Uman and you did an incredible mitzvah, whatever it is that you do, especially going to the tzaddik, come back, you lose all your cheshik v'avodas Hashem, beginning to end. You just want to leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I just want to sleep. That's it. That's Lamais is a very good sign. Rabbeinu says, because, you had the Yetzer Hara until now. You did the Mesiris Nefesh, you did the mitzvah, whatever it is. You killed that Yetzer Hara. Now you have a much bigger Yetzer Hara. I remember, I think a couple of years ago, I came to him and I spoke to Sichos Haran, and I told him, Baruch Hashem, I feel comfortable. I'm embarrassed to take off my kappa. But I don't feel like doing anything. It's just like she says, that's good. That's a good sign. Yeah, you had a good woman. You start again. Especially you come from the tzaddik, there is an incubation period. Things need to cook inside you. It usually takes anywhere between 3, 4, up to 6 months for the new you to start to sprout and start again with your new Avodas Hashem. So until then, take it easy. Take it easy. Stay away from Mazid. Stay away from Mazid. Other Kodesh Baruch Hu, whenever you can, please help me. Please help me to ask you to help me. Whatever you can. And just keep your equilibrium. It's Torah Vav. Boki b'ratzo, boki b'shov. Okay. Let's take a quick look, B'ezrat Hashem, Sichos Haran for this week. And here we go. Okay, just close this. Okay, this is 211. The Reish Yud Aleph. Rabbi used to make fun of those that were disputing him. And he said, you know, where he got this amazing Torah? He got from his grandfather, Rabbi Nachman Rodenko Zichron Lebracha. So he said, my grandfather so geschmack, he left me such Torahs. Unbelievable. Right on the ball for every single Indian. Is it to be Inyan of the Yama, what's happening, what the people need to hear, Shabbos Chanukah from Chanukah, Shabbos Nachamu from Shabbos Nachamu, every single people, all the people, everything that they need, Gashmis, Ruchnis, everything is included in the Torah, I'm saying at that particular point in time. And everything already passed in the world. In other words, in Rabbeinu's Torah, everything was already included. Whatever it is, anybody that heard it, is learning it, is studying it. We already saw it with our own eyes in unbelievable things that whatever each and every one of us needed, Gashmis, Ruchnis, everything that passed upon him, the world, everything was included in his Torah. And also the Torah, you know, that whatever was happening in the world at that particular time, Rabbeinu's time was Napoleon time, whatever it is, that everything was included in this Torah. He says, all the Torah that spoke just from whatever was happening at that particular time, especially other Murdik Inyanim that he saw, and whenever he says his awesome Torah, anybody has a shtickle seichel in his head, you could see the Develokim Chaim. This is living words of God. You know, that were with Mamish they were revealed to Rabbeinu HaKodesh Min HaShamayim now. From an unbelievably exalted Moker Elya v'Kodesh Noyer v'Nitzkav Moed, unbelievable source. It was chidushim that were never heard in the world before. There is no such Torah. There never was such Torah in the world before. You know, the Rabbeinu had one of Rabbeinu's Talmidim was one of Talmidei a Magid. It's called the Magid of Terovitza. And Rabbi Kasil from Terovitza, he was a Talmid Chaver of the Baal Tanya. Baal Tanya actually took from him a skoma on the Siddur. The Siddur, you know, of the Baal Tanya. The original Siddur has a lot of halachas, you know, so he got a skoma from him. He was a Rebbe of like 80 villages or whatever, you know, whatever it is. He was a Rebbe, and he was a best friend with Reb Nochum Chernobyl, the Morinaim, and they used to go, you know, to one another to spend time together once a year. This one went to this one to it. And at age 80, he saw Rabbi Himet Rabbeinu, and he became his chassid. Rabbeinu was like in his 20s, early 20s. He became his chassid. And he heard the Torah that Rabbeinu was saying. And he said afterwards, he said, I saw fire coming out of his mouth. You're talking about Terovitz Magid. He wasn't a kid. It was someone of Dimyan. Talmud of Magid of Mizrich. And he said, I saw fire coming out of his mouth. And he says, Motzei Shabbos, I see this young man. He's talking about Reb Nosson. He's running around with a bunch of paper, of sheets of paper in his hand. So I asked him, what do you have in your hand? So Reb Nosson wrote over what Rabbeinu said. The Torah Rabbeinu said, he remembered it, and he wrote it down. So the Torah Tzemach says, I took a look at the papers and I see fire on the paper. I see fire on the paper. How could Reb Nosson do it? Take the fire. The fire is still on the paper. The Tzemach Maggid said when he heard the Torah of Rabbeinu, he says, this is higher than Tikkun Azar. This is the higher level of Kabbalah that there is. So he says, these were such chidushim that were never heard in the world before. How can anybody think of such a shtus, that his grandfather left him so many different Torahs, hundreds of Torahs, and Sichos and Maisius that have to do with everything, and all these incredible Sichos that anybody has never ever heard before. And all this is from Torahs that his grandfather somehow left him a Yerusha. He says anybody that knew his holy grandfather, Reb Nachman Rodenker, he knew that he wasn't such a Baal Torah that the Rabbeinu was. He was an awesome, unbelievable tzaddik, but he wasn't such a Baal Torah, especially such chidushim that has never been heard in the world before. One time there was an old man from Slapkevich that used to know Reb Nachman Rodenker, and he stood before Rabbeinu HaKodesh, and he said, so Rabbeinu HaKodesh told him, they said that my Torah is from my grandfather. At least that we should have the seichel to say the Baal Shem HaKodesh left in this Torah. But no, this is so he says, believe me, if my grandfather Reb Nachman or Rodenke would hear my Torah, it would be an unbelievable chiddush by him as well. The important nakuda in this inyan is for us to understand that the kashas are always on the tzaddik that is the most relevant to your life right now. We have no problems believing in Baal Shem HaKodesh, in the Rebbe Melech, in Arizal, Moshe Rabbeinu, Kamavan, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the Ramchal, the Gra Kodesh, all of them, no problem. Why? Because the tzaddik that is most relevant to your tikkun today is Rabbeinu. That's exactly the reason why all your kashas are coming dafka on him. Why would anybody come to say, listen, his Torahs are from Reb Nachman Rodenker or whatever? Why? Okay, so this is beautiful Torahs. Because these Torahs is negeh to your life. And that's exactly what each and every one of us need for a tikkun nitzchi. I said, no. I allow you to believe in the Baal Shem HaKodesh. I will allow you to believe in Arizal and all those, because these are not the tzaddikim that are in charge of this particular generation. They are all included in it, yes. But the one tzaddik that is the mainstay, that everything depends on him, that's the one you have the most problem with. That's the one you have most cautious about. That's the one you say, yeah, maybe the test comes from here, maybe it comes from there. Who knows? Well, the main thing is for us to know, Baruch Hashem, everything is good, and everything is going to be good. Begashmius, beruchnius. As long as we hold ourselves together, ourselves in the Muna, Shlema, Kodesh Baruch Hu, His Torah, His Tzaddikim, especially Rabbeinu HaKodesh, and ourselves. That everything that we do, small or big, that we come from Uman and we still have a cold, or something's wrong with our leg, or we get COVID, or whatever it is that happens, this is still the trip from the tzaddik. It's tikkun kol ha'olam. Yeah. Me? What are you talking about? Me? Yes, you. You came to Uman, or you wanted to go to Uman. Other people maybe didn't want enough, maybe they wanted but couldn't go. Whatever way they were, you are the army of the tzaddik in this generation. You have to believe in it. That's the Mesa of Yiddishkeit. You say Kriya Shema. He says, why does Vayam Shema Tishma, but Pasha Shema comes before Pashas Vayam Shema. First of all, you need to believe in Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is Shema, is the Yichud, and the second one, Vayam Shema, is the Kabel. You should receive all mitzvahs. The first Pasha is Kabel All Malchus Shemayim. The second one is all mitzvahs. It's a shtickle kasha. If you're already mekabel in yourself, all Malchus Shemayim, because Baruch is the Melech, that already includes the mitzvahs. If he's the Melech, which means everything that he says, I need to do. So what is left over for Pashas Vayam Shema? To the mekabel all mitzvahs. You already received it in all Malchus Shemayim. The answer, possibly, is the first parsha is Ol Malchus Shemayim, because Baruch is Melech, and he's the one who gives us the mitzvahs. The second parsha is Emunah in yourself. You are the one that the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to do these mitzvahs. It's not some kind of a tribe, I don't know who on the moon. It's not another nation. It's you. It's a Emunah in yourself. That you are a godly thing. It's an unbelievable thing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe Rabbeinu had this Am Yisrael went and did this Egel Azov, Oilo Lekolosh of Zinsa B'toch. Unbelievable. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, let me go, let me up, and I will La Aleinu do off with them, and I will make you Am Yisrael 2.0. Upgraded. Baruch says, because Am Kshei Oref, they're like, the stiff-necked nation. The chutzpah, they get tired, they say, they go to do Egel Azov. Moshe Rabbeinu says, V'shum panim we're all finished. No way. And he says, because they're Am Kshei Oref, they're stiff-necked nation. Because Baruch Hu says, do away with them because they're stiff-necked. Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, don't do that because they're stiff-necked. But Moshe Rabbeinu is saying Kodesh Baruch Hu as follows. Enochinami. You're absolutely correct. They're chutzpahdik to the nth degree. It's unbelievable. But what this nation has to go through. That this nation has to go through the destruction of the first temple. Mitzrayim, Gulos Mitzrayim, and the first temple, and the second temple, and the Holocaust, there's no way that they will ever traverse all these trials and tribulations and come out of it and renew themselves without being absolutely stubborn as an ox. They have to be stiff-necked. And when it goes wrong, it goes very wrong. But there's no way for it to go right without that. Kodesh Baruch Hu is masking with it. So to celebrate our stiff-necked nation as each and every one of us, At Hashem should have a gebenched week and a gebenched winter. We started saying, Talamot Levracho tonight, and you should have bracha, atzlacha, health, gesund, everything good. Bezat Hashem. So, Bezat Hashem, hopefully we will meet again Monday or something with a new schedule, same schedule, but new shurim, because I feel it's time for a little bit of renewal, of refreshment, at least of the syllabus, as it were. Bezat Hashem, we'll see whoever comes on Monday, Bli Neder. Call to be Matzliach.